$150, and that is why lesbian relationships last so long, you know? It's like there's no good way to split that. Because then, you know, at the end you're like, you take it. No, I'll take it. No, you. And then finally I was like, I'll take it, and, you know, I'll just give you some cash. And then she was like, what? You're gonna use that? You're gonna use our love machine on someone new? You're gonna use our passion harness on some new fling? And I was like, yes, because men use their dicks on new people all the time. No, they don't even wash it. Nobody says anything.
I got to the hot dog section of the store the other day, and I noticed there's a Jewish brand of hot dogs called Hebrew National. You guys ever had them? I'm talking about, yeah. Oh, they're super good, but I felt bad because my first thought was like, don't you think a more appropriate name for Jewish hot dogs would be Anne Frank's? Like, am I the first person in history to think of that? Put them upstairs, make them hard to find.
This is on us, this was our bad. Sorry we took all that you had. This was your country, still not giving it back. Sorry. Fields of gold, streams of blue. Look at the stuff we took it from you. This was your country. Thank you.
I said, okay, sure. You know, you just have to answer some security questions so we can get into your account. And she said, okay, yeah. And they said, who is your childhood best friend? And she goes, Margot. And they go, no. That's not what it is. Okay, Gail? No, sorry, is it Trudy? And they're like, man, you can really only answer this so many times. Why don't you think about it? Call us back. And I talked to her in between there, and I was like, Mom. And she was like, this is bogus. And I was like, it truly is. This is horse shit, Mom. Fuck Sprint. And I got her all riled up. I was like, fuck Sprint! And she was like, don't cuss. But she called them back and she was like, you know what? I'm going to cancel. And they're like, we're sorry to hear that. We're Sprint. And she goes, but, you know, can I know who my childhood best friend was?
Polanski has to have the worst luck of anybody in the history. Like, he got popped for underage sex in Hollywood in the 70s. Do you know what every man in the 70s out here was a legit monster. Just a monster. That was in Jack Nicholson's pool. That was probably the oldest pussy that had been in that pool in a fucking month. You know Jimmy Kahn, when he was in that pool, Jimmy Kahn was on the roof just quadruple penetrating 2 10-year-olds that he found on a bus that he hijacked and just laughing his Irish ass off. And fucking Polanski's in the pool like, really? The grieving Jew? That's who you pop?
Now, number one, I didn't know toasters could cost $60. Number two, nothing was wrong with the toaster. We already had a toaster. So why did she feel the need to go get another toaster, right? The thing about the toaster is, if you're thinking about appliances that are going to work better because you pay more money, toaster's like at the bottom of the list. Because at the end of 2 minutes, we're both just going to have bread that's almost burnt.
So I went on this date, and when I went in, it was going pretty well. And then he was like, hey, why don't we go back to my place? And I was like, oh yeah, we should totally do that. So we went back to his place, and on the table was War and Peace. And he was like, I love War and Peace. I just finished reading Anna Karenina. It's my favorite book. And then he was like, you read it, right? And I was like, God, this guy's really hot. So I said, of course I read it. I love that book. And now we live together. And I was like, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him. We live together, I should tell him. And we went to dinner, right before I was kind of getting ready to say, like, he'll be fine with it. And our friend was like, so, like, when did you two know that you were kind of in love? And he was like, he told me he read Anna Karenina. And I was like, this guy is, like, perfect. And I was like, shit.
Throughout the trip, I had been ignoring a lot of talk about reincarnation. And she goes, now that we're here, I really think I was there. And I was like, hey, don't end this sentence. Let's talk about literally anything else. And she goes, no, I'm being serious. I think I was there, and I really think I was a slave. And I was like, I wanted to respect you.
To be fair, we thought that this was India. To be fair, we thought it was available. To be fair, our maps just aren't that accurate. Google Maps, where you at? Where you at? To be fair, you probably could have stopped us. I've seen the movies, you really could have stopped us.
Fields of gold, streams of blue. Look at this stuff, we took it from you. This was your country.